Listen carefully. Some of you need to hear this. There's a type of pain that doesn't just hurt you, it changes you. It changes the way you see people, the way you trust, the way you move through life. It breaks you apart so much that when you look in the mirror, you don't even recognize the person you've become. And no one really talks about what happens after that. When you go through something that deep, you don't just get over it and go back to who you were. You don't just arrive at a new version of yourself like magic without going through the hardest parts first. You start to notice things you never noticed before. You start to question people. You start to pull back and feel afraid. You don't even know who you can trust. And even the smallest things can trigger you. And sometimes you don't even recognize the person you've become altogether. Not because you wanted to change, but because something inside you had to. Not because you're isolating, but because you're trying to protect yourself. And you have the right to. I've been through moments in my life where everything I knew about people, about love, about family, about trust just broke. It broke so quickly I didn't even have time to process it. And I remember sitting there thinking, why do I feel so lonely in a world full of people? Am I not okay? Was it all my fault like they said? I wasn't as open, I wasn't as trusting, I wasn't as happy, and I definitely wasn't as free. And for a very long time, I thought there was something wrong with me. But here's the truth. You didn't become a worse person. You just became a more aware one. You started seeing what you ignored before. You started feeling what you used to brush off. You started protecting parts of yourself that no one protected before. And people will call that changing, but it's not changing in a bad way. It's just you waking up, finally. But there's another side to this. The side no one mentions. Pain like that can also turn you into something not so nice. It can make you angry. It can make you cold. It can make you hurt people the way you were hurt. And for some people, that's the road they take. And I understand it. Because when you've been broken that deeply, it's easier to harden than it is to stay soft. But you have a choice at the end of the day. You can let the pain turn you bitter, or you can give it a chance to let it build you into something better. The hardest part isn't the pain itself. It is who you become after it that matters. And that second option is not easy. It's not easy to stay kind after everything you've been through. It is one of the hardest things you'll ever do in this lifetime. Because now you know what people are capable of. You can't unlearn that. And you still choose not to become that. That takes a different kind of strength. And this is where faith comes in. Because without something to hold on to, when everything feels like it's falling apart, it's easier to lose yourself. You need something to remind you that this pain has meaning and that you're not being destroyed. You're just being reshaped, rebuilt. And that path is very lonely. You will outgrow people. You will sit with yourself more. You will feel like no one understands you. But in that loneliness, what I noticed is you start to meet yourself sometimes for the first time. And in between all of that pain, there are moments, small moments, where you feel like peace. Again, when you feel clarity, when you feel strength, and you quietly realize there may be something beautiful on the other side of this. And if you're in that place right now, I want you to start noticing what you feel without judging it. You don't have to fix everything at once. Just be honest with yourself. That's where you start. About what's changed. Pay attention to what drains you now. And give yourself permission, real permission. to step back from it, even if you've never did it before. Start trusting what your body is telling you. When something doesn't feel right, don't ignore it this time. Believe it. And don't rush yourself to be okay. Because healing doesn't happen on a timeline. You don't need to prove anything to anyone because it's none of their business. And most importantly, protect your heart without closing it completely. Because the goal isn't to become cold. It is to become aware and still choose softness. And I know that part is hard because sometimes choosing yourself means losing people. People you loved, people you cared about, people who were part of your life for a very long time sometimes. But losing people is not the same as losing yourself. You need to remember that. Losing people hurts, yes. But losing yourself, that's a different kind of loss. And that's the one you don't come back from. Not always. In fact, sometimes losing people is the only way you can finally find yourself again. So if you feel like you're not the same person anymore, you're not crazy, you're not too much, and you're definitely not what they said you were. If this spoke to you, stay with me. There's more I want to share with you. Till next time, remember, what hurt you can still become something beautiful.